Welcome to your weekly forecast. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer. In these weekly videos, I go over the astrological energies for the week ahead. And in this video, we will be going over the energy for November 13th to the 19th, 2023. If you align with my energy and enjoy my content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, let's get right into it because this is a really big week. We are coming off of that Mars opposition to Uranus, which came exact on November 11th. And then as we come into the week on Monday, we are moving out of the new moon in Scorpio, which if you have not checked my new moon forecast, make sure you do so. I will link it right up top here. I get into all 12 rising signs, but I also get into the chart for this new moon. This new moon is really significant. It really feels almost like an eclipse, but with a spin in a sense. It's not an eclipse, but because it's conjunct Mars and Mars is extremely powerful right now, it's a very intense new moon in Scorpio. So it's going to be really intense, and it's definitely going to be bringing a lot to the surface energetically, spiritually, emotionally. And so having that discernment and self-awareness at this time is going to be so important. Whatever this new moon is bringing up for you and whatever Uranus is shaking up to the surface, bringing to the surface, this is going to show you the deep parts of yourself that still need to be healed or transmuted or transformed in some way. And again, this can be emotionally, spiritually, intuitively, psychologically, because a Scorpio, and this is where I talk about mental health right now. And, a lot of people can be struggling with mental health. Scorpio is a very psychological energy. And so even the thoughts that you're thinking, and also too, having the discernment of what is yours and what is not yours. And then we get back to this kind of Saturn direct energy, which Saturn has barely moved. So we're still kind of in this Saturn stationing direct energy still. And Saturn being in Pisces wants you to take accountability for your energy, establish those boundaries, know what is yours and what is not yours, and what is yours, take accountability for that and responsibility, and really take care of your energy. Do what it is that you need to do on a daily basis so that you can be a healthy person and have a healthy sense of self. Do you ever find that when you're maybe out in public, in the grocery store, at the mall, or even at a family member's house or a friend's house, and all of a sudden your energy changes or your emotions change or heighten in some way, or you start thinking thoughts that you haven't thought in a long time or that are completely out of the norm for you? You can be picking up on other people's energy, but also there's a lot of spiritual and energetic attacks at the moment as well. I've heard a lot of light workers talk about this. So because it's Scorpio season, and Scorpio is just such a magnetic energy, and especially around this new moon in Scorpio, we are bringing everything in. Like we are whatever frequency you're vibrating on at the moment, that everything's kind of coming to you on that frequency. And so if you're vibrating high and you're taking care of your energy, you are going to be manifesting amazing things into your life, amazing experiences. But if you're vibrating at a lower frequency, you're going to be bringing more of those experiences into your life. And so it's really important to have that discernment and take care of your energy right now and determine what is yours and what is not yours. And when you're picking up on other energies around you, other thoughts, or you're able to we are able to kind of figure out, okay, this is not my energy, this isn't me, and you just take a moment and even just say, I do not consent to this energy. I don't consent to these feelings, these thoughts. This is not mine. Send it back. Protect yourself energetically. You can feel almost like that heavy energy lift from your being. So having that discernment and self-awareness is so crucial at this time. Now, in that new moon forecast video, I talk a lot about how it can be very easy right now to escape or take the toxic known path that you're used to, that you're comfortable with, that is almost very habitual for you. So that is another reason why it's very important to have that self-awareness and discernment right now, so that you don't spiral out, because this can be a very manic, very spiraling out kind of energy. So, and I get into that in the forecast, but we've got a T square to Lilith. We've also got Neptune involved. And so this can be an energy where it's very easy to escape. It's very easy to take that toxic known path. So I really just want you all to understand that. So while we're in this difficult energy, you're able to grow from this. After we have that new moon in Scorpio, we are going to have the moon conjunct Mars and oppose Uranus. And so this is where things can get really intense. Mind you, this is going to be roughly in the middle of the night, but depending on your location on the planet, this is where, and I always talk about when the moon connects with Uranus to watch for anxiety. This is where there can be a lot of emotional instability. So we do want to be mindful of that. And especially when the moon forms the conjunction to Uranus freshly off of that new moon. The thing with this, though, which we're kind of moving through for the entire week, is that Mars is about to have a rebirth, a restart. And this is a time to really start something new when it has to do with your Mars energy. Mars has to do with how you react, how you respond, how you take action, how you, your motivation, your willpower, your drive. And we only have a Mars Cazimi once every 2 years, which is going to come out exact on Wednesday, and we'll get into that. But we're moving through this energy all week. And so keep that in mind with, again, whatever's showing up for you and how you're responding, how you're reacting. So we have the moon forming conjunction to Mars, and then we're going to have the sun form that exact opposition to Uranus. And so for the entire day on Monday, things can feel a little shaky. Things can feel not a lot of stability emotionally. And again, this is where you have to have that discernment and self-awareness to try to figure out, where is this coming from? Why is this showing up for me now? What is the root? What is the underlying issue here? What do I need to focus on? Scorpio has that ability to become laser focused and really dig beneath the surface and bring something to light so that you can heal on a deep internal level. And so paying attention on Monday to what is showing up for you, what is being kind of it's almost like, too, I talked about in one of my videos, one of those like sifters when you put the sand through and you shake it. I think it's a sifter, and I still don't think I'm using the proper word, but you shake it and all the sand kind of falls through, and then you get left with the rocks or the wood. I feel like we're all moving through that right now, collectively and individually. And so our lives, spiritually and emotionally and psychologically, are being shaken up right now. And whatever is left on the surface after this new moon is what you need to heal, what you need to transform. And this is collectively and individually. Now I've talked more about collectively. This is where we can really see something intense showing up in the world, especially with everything that is going on. So we do want to be mindful and aware of, what we're watching on the news. And then because of the Neptune energy, we may not be seeing something clearly. We may not be understanding something clearly. So we do want to be mindful of that. Now on Tuesday, for the first half of the day, we are still moving through the sun opposition to Uranus. So Uranus is still kind of bringing something up for you to be aware of. But again, this is an opportunity for transformation. And Uranus is also known as the Great Awakener. And so with the sun having to do with who we are and our consciousness and our self-identity, there can also be something kind of shaking up around that. This could also show up as another level of awakening for you. So definitely pay attention to what is showing up too also on Tuesday. But we'll have the moon in Sagittarius. And so so this is where, and forming in conjunction to Mercury, because we now have Mercury in Sagittarius. So with the moon in Sagittarius, we're having this very free-flowing, adventurous, philosophical energy. That is what Sagittarius is. Sagittarius may not be able to pinpoint something exactly, but we're having ideas about, this new direction. We're having ideas about how we want to heal and what we want to do to move forward from whatever has shown up for us. And then on Wednesday, we have the Mars Cazimi, and this is when Mars and the Sun form a conjunction. Now, this is a reset for Mars. This is a clearing of the deck. So whatever has shown up for you over the last week, when it has to do with how you respond, how you take action, how you react, when it has to do with those really deep psychological, emotional, and spiritual parts of yourself. This is where you can reset something. This is about a reset. This is something new, and this only happens every 2 years, and this is in Mars, the home sign, where Mars is very, very strong. And so this is really an amazing opportunity to start something new, start something fresh, and have a new beginning in the Scorpio area of your life, but also with your Mars energy. We also have this interesting yod between Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter. Venus and Mercury are forming a sextile. Venus now being in Libra, which is a beautiful energy. Venus wanting to balance things out, needing that balance and harmony, tranquility, and beauty. And Mercury having those ideas on how to do that, also being very philosophical. And Jupiter is the apex of this yod. And so it's almost like if you're able to ground those ideas in, if you're able to ground in the balance that's required, whatever the conversation that Venus and Mercury are having right now, if you're able to see that, because a yod is 2 inconjunctions and a sextile. Now, inconjunctions need to be worked with consciously. So it can be difficult to pinpoint or even see and be conscious of what this yod is bringing up for you. But if you have the ability to understand what the yod is bringing up to the surface and what needs to be worked with consciously, and tapping into that Jupiter Taurus energy of being able to ground that in. So the conversation that Mercury and Venus are having, the ideas, the need for balance and how to do that, if you can ground that in, again, there's this beautiful opportunity for growth, but it requires that conscious awareness. And I hope I explained that properly. Sometimes I have difficulty. Sometimes I struggle. I have a Mercury in my 12th house with a T-square to the moon and Saturn. So if you haven't noticed, communicating is not easy for me. And it's something that is a work in progress. I've worked on it and will continue to work on it. But sometimes I use the wrong words or I say things wrong. Sometimes what I say makes no sense and I'm not expressing or communicating what's kind of in my head. So I hope that you get that. Yeah. But also later on Wednesday, we will have the moon forming a square to Neptune. And so this is where things can become a little bit cloudy, possibly confusing. And this is also, too, where we don't want to get in our own way of over-romanticizing something or over-idealizing something. Where the moon being in Sagittarius, there's a lot of, these ideas and wanting to explore new paths, new directions. With the moon square to Neptune, it's where there can be something here with emotions or intuition that's not exactly coming together. And so sitting with the energy, and again, it'll show up for all of us differently, but whatever experience is showing up for you at this time, sitting with the energy and making sure you're seeing things for what they are. You're not over idealizing something, over romanticizing something, can definitely help. And then, of course, once we get into Thursday, the moon will move off of, even once we get into Wednesday night, the moon will start to move off of that square and things will start to come together and make sense. And then on Thursday, we have the moon entering Capricorn. And so this is where we can become a little bit, I don't like to say emotionally detached, but we can really take a step back from our emotions and see things in a different light. But what is really interesting about Thursday is that we have the sun and Mars move to 24 degrees pretty much together. So we still have that Mars Cazimi. But then we have Neptune move to 24 degrees, which forms an exact trine between the sun and Mars and Neptune. So there's something here where whatever has come to the surface around this whole Mars energy, this whole reset, this whole fresh start that you're moving through right now, or that you're wanting to reset, there is this beautiful, supportive insight on Thursday. Almost like I feel if you've done the hard work, if you've moved through it, if you've figured out those parts of yourself that you need to work on, those deep internal, emotional, spiritual, and psychological things that have shown up for you, that have come to the surface, if you've been able to determine what that is, Neptune almost brings this beautiful light and energy in to help release that, to help set that free. Now, this is also, too, where if we're not being discerning, we're not having that self awareness, it can be very easy to escape. So, again, we want to make sure, and I kind of mentioned this, all week, of having that discernment, having that self-awareness, paying attention to what is showing up energetically, emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically, your thoughts, and even having that understanding of you are not your thoughts, and being able to be mindful of your thoughts, and then being able to almost pinpoint the thoughts that you don't want to experience, or the ones that you don't want to, say, why is this coming up? This isn't me. This isn't what I want to experience right now. Release and let that go, and then bring in something you do want to experience, kind of almost controlling your thoughts in a sense, but being mindful and paying attention to what is showing up so that you're able to do so. And if you can do that, Neptune brings in this really beautiful energy. And so I hope that I explained that. I hope you understand what I was kind of trying to get at there. Because it can be really easy to escape at this time. It can be, like I said earlier, kind of really easy to take that toxic known path. And it really, really requires self-awareness right now. And I keep seeing that because I just worry we're just in this energy, this manic energy, and this energy of those who struggle with mental health. I mean, and we all have our own stuff, and being able to take accountability and responsibility for that, and really being able to figure out those toxic parts of yourself, and that it's okay. We all have our own thing, right? Nobody is perfect. And being able to kind of figure out what that is, because it's going to be coming to the surface right now. We're all moving through it in our own way. It's going to be coming up. And being able to figure out what that is and transform that, transmute, heal, grow. There's just amazing opportunity right now. And I feel like I keep repeating myself, but I really want to drive that home. And we also have that Sun-Mars conjunction forming an in conjunction to the North Node too. So it's also like this ability to, again, in conjunctions require conscious awareness. So again, it's adding to this energy of, if you can, grow and figure out what that is and why. You're put on the path of you're put on your highest timeline. You're put on the path that is in alignment with who you are in this new direction with this new Mars energy. And then on Friday, we have the sun and Mars still moving together. Now they are at 25 degrees. So also, too, check your birth chart to see if you have any personal planets or points between 20 and, I would say 20 and even 30 or 29 degrees of Scorpio, because you can be feeling this a lot more intensely. But on Friday, we have the sun and Mars still together, moving to 25 degrees, and we have the moon still in Capricorn, moving closer to Pluto. But once we get into Saturday, we will have that moon conjunction to Pluto come exact, and then the moon will enter Aquarius. And we will have the Sun and Mars move now to 26 degrees. So we're still moving through that Mars Cazimi. And so, again, this is something we're kind of moving through all week, especially that last half of the week where the Sun and Moon, where the Sun and Mars travel together for a few days. And then later on Saturday, we have the moon in Aquarius forming a square to Jupiter. And this is where we want to be careful of feeling defeated or being thrown off our path in some way. There could be some type of block, hold, or stop to something. So late Saturday, we want to be careful of, or even I feel like I even just got the download of like almost like I'm throwing in the towel. Maybe this is too hard for me. I can't do this. So don't do that. If Saturday night you're feeling like it's too much or you're not understanding something emotionally, sit with the energy, let it pass. And again, meditate, go within, figure out even that part of you that wants to throw the towel in. Why? Why is that showing up? And then on Sunday, we will have the moon continue to move through Aquarius, form a trine to Venus. And this can feel really beautiful. This is where there can be this, where the night before with that moon square to Jupiter, feeling defeated, feeling, just this unknown feeling and not understanding why, there can be something that just kind of emotionally or intuitively clicks on Sunday. Now, one last energy I want to talk about again before we get off here is Neptune. The Neptune in conjunction to the South Node, which is something we're kind of moving through for the entire week. And that is where there's something that can be showing up from the past. And this can be, again, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, but it can be confusing with that Neptune energy. And because it's an in conjunction, again, this is something we have to be able to pinpoint consciously and work with consciously. Also, keep that in mind while moving through the week. And this is kind of just adding to what I've already said, but it's just another energy that is, kind of following in with everything else that we're moving through, where if you're able to pinpoint, what that is, those parts of yourself, release that and let that go. That's what the South Node is. There's this beautiful opportunity for internal growth. But again, with that Neptune energy, it can be confusing, but it can also be easy to escape. And that is what I want you all to just be mindful of this week. Have that self-awareness. And if you're moving through anything that's kind of unknown right now, sit with the energy, go within, meditate, try to figure out, why am I feeling this way right now? Why am I thinking this right now? What is the root to this thing that's showing up for me? And start healing that. So I hope this helps you move through the energies for the week. We are definitely in some intense times, but you can't grow and evolve without the intense and hard, challenging situations. And so don't feel defeated. Don't feel like, and that's something that can come with that Jupiter retrograde energy. Don't feel defeated. Don't lose faith. Don't feel as if, this isn't going to work out for you. Go within and figure out, why are you feeling that way, and figure out what you have to heal to get you to where you want to be. So thank you so much for connecting with me. I love connecting with all of you. Let me know in the comments below how you have all been moving through this energy. And I hope you have a fabulous week, and I will connect with you all in the next one.